today I am going through our individual family subjects for this year, for the 2019-2020 school year. I was going to do one big video of all of our family subjects, and I actually started filming that, and then it started pushing past 30 minutes, and I'm like, this is just too long. There was a lot I kind of wanted to cover. I wanted to do more of a flip through than an actual just like, this is what we're doing and move on. So what I am doing is I am just doing a quick video on each of our family subjects. So history, Bible, geography, what else? Art, music, health, all of those subjects. We do all of those as a family. And so I'm going to do each one individually and hopefully just be a shorter video. And if you're interested in a certain subject, then you can get that and not have to worry about the ones that you really don't need. Or you can just watch them all. So I've already done the Bible curriculum for, what we're doing for Bible this year. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check it out on my channel. That's already posted. And today I'm going to show you our history curriculum, which I'm really excited about. And science, that's the other one. I didn't say that right. History, yeah, I didn't say that. Bible, history, geography, science, music, health, and art. Yes, sorry. Going off randomly. My brain does that sometimes. But anyway, I'm going to show you our history, and I'm going to show you geography too, because I feel like those kind of are combined. They're different. They're not the same curriculum that we're using. One doesn't encompass both of those subjects. But we flip-flop. So we do history 2 days a week and geography 2 days a week. And so we kind of put those together. So if you are interested in seeing our history and geography curriculum for this year, stick around and I'll show you in just a second. All right, guys, so here it is. So we are doing the Good and the Beautiful's history year 1 for this year, and our geography is going to be Galloping the Globe, the geography unit study for young learners. And this covers world history, and so, or not history, world geography. And so we did a little bit of U.S. geography last year, so I figured we'd kind of flip-flop back and forth. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera there. So let's go ahead and get into the Good and the Beautiful first. And so what I'm going to show you is the teacher's manual. Now, oh, sorry, my cat's walking through here. He's probably going to, oh, I was afraid he'd try to sit on my stuff. He does that anytime I try to do anything, he's going to sit on my stuff. Okay, so let's get this get a full picture of that so you can see. So, I actually purchased this used. Somebody in my homeschool, there's like some homeschool yard sale groups on Facebook where we live, and somebody was getting rid of it, and so I nabbed it because I believe at the time, a few weeks ago when I looked, this was not in stock. And so I went ahead and grabbed this. I had been looking at using this for a couple years now, actually, and we didn't, as a family, their English or the language arts curriculum did not work for us. It was a little too kind of open-ended, and which some families it does work for, and that's fine. It just didn't for us. And so I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but when I saw that somebody was selling it used for significantly less than it cost, I thought, well, that would be awesome. I can grab it and kind of try it out and see how we like it. And we've already started using it because we're actually going into our 3rd week. Is that right? 3rd, maybe 4th week of homeschooling. Goodness gracious. We started early because we're going to be moving this year, so I want to make sure that we didn't fall behind. But we are loving this so far. So this is year 1, and they just came out, I believe, with year 4. So it kind of reminds me of Story of the World, where there's 4 parts, and they cover different things. Now, Story of the World starts at the very beginning and goes all through up to modern times, but each volume would be, a certain chunk. The way that I am understanding the Good and the Beautiful history is that it it goes through all of history, but each year focuses on different stories and pieces of history. So for instance, in this one, we may focus on ancient Egypt, but in year 2, it's going to be something different that they focus on. So you'll still kind of touch base on those stories and parts of history in each volume or each year, but you won't have a heavy study or focus on those in each year. So they'll be different. So Unit 1 is ancient history. It starts from creation and goes all the way up to Egypt from 600 BC to modern day. Unit 2 is the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, and it starts with ancient Britain and goes all the way up to the faithful French Huguenots. Then you have Unit 3, the French and Indian War through the Revolutionary War, and that starts with New France and ends with, let me put that up there, the blessings of a constitutional democratic republic. And then Unit 4 is the Victorian era, the history of flight in the Cold War era, and that starts with Queen Victoria and the British Empire, and it ends with the fall of communism. There are 60 lessons, and we are doing this twice a week, and so that will get us all the way through the year. That'll put us at 30 weeks, plus that gives us some additional weeks to study certain things more if we want to. So for ancient Egypt, if we want to hang out there for a little bit longer and do some additional reading, we can. We have the time for that. So this talks about the course, and this is very typical of the Good and the Beautiful. All of their subjects have this overview, which is really nice. So it talks about the course overview. There's an emphasis on God and character. It's a family style, so you can teach children in grades K through 12 with a 60-minute lesson for 2 to 3 times a week. And we don't even spend 60 minutes on this because my kids are younger. They would not sit for 60 minutes, but the lessons, we get through them pretty quickly because they are younger. There's the whole sweep of history with an emphasis on U.S. history and principles of freedom. It says all history courses cover ancient times and modern history, but each course stops in different places and time periods to explore in depth. Thus, children see the whole sweep of history and how it fits together during each course. Each of the 4 history courses places an emphasis on U.S. history, the Founding Fathers, and principles of freedom. There's the Good and Beautiful style learning. So obviously it talks about, courses that promote truth, beauty, family interaction, and meaningful exploration, and no prep time. I mean, this is true. You open it and you go. That is the most beautiful thing for me about the Good and the Beautiful stuff. We have some of their science, and there's a tiny bit of prep for those, but for this, legit, open and go. It's amazing. And it does have a Christian worldview. So if you're looking for something secular, and here's the cat again. If you're looking for something secular, I'm not exactly sure this would fit, because we do start in creation and we talk about biblical characters and they talk about God throughout. So if you're Christian and just maybe looking for something more secular, this might be okay. But if you are, for instance, if you're atheist, this probably is not going to work for you. And so there's that. And then, let's see, items needed for the course. So physical items that you will need. Okay. So, let me see if I can, hold on. I'm going to kind of bring this down a little bit more. So maybe we can adjust my tripod. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Okay. So physical items that would be shipped to you if you bought this from the company. The history course book year 1, which is this. The big book of history stories, maps, and images, which I'll show you in a minute, but is this. And then the Keys of History board game, which is this. And I'll open it up and show you in a minute too. Also, you will need to download some things. So the student books or workbooks, you can't just purchase those separately. The nice thing is once you purchase the curriculum, you can download them. There in the beginning here is a website with a password where you can download not only the student workbooks, but there are also audio recordings that go along with certain lessons, and those are amazing. So I'll talk about those in a little bit. And then it talks about how to teach the course, length of a lesson, how to teach each day, student explorers, which are the student workbooks. Let's see, and that is the website and the password. History notebook, We haven't started that, but we will. Talks about the audio recordings, the big book of history stories, skipping lessons for younger children, the keys of history board game, students in kindergarten, and read aloud suggestions. They also have memory work, which we haven't really, we may not do this. My kids, we participate in Awana, so they're memorizing a lot of biblical scripture each week, and so I don't want to like inundate them with a lot of stuff and make them like unhappy or, you know, just not looking forward to it. So I remember memorizing these things when I was an older elementary age kiddo. I did the Declaration of Independence, which I still remember. I remember, what was it? Part of the, what is it? The part of the Constitution, and let's see what else. Was there anything else? I know there was other things I meant, but I still remember a lot of that. But like I said, I was probably closer to 5th grade when we were doing all of that. They also have read aloud suggestions, which I purchased the ones that they suggest. And this stuff is on that website with the password. This stuff is listed too, but it's also listed here in the book. So they have Unit 1 suggestions, all ages, the Golden Goblet, and then middle-aged children, these books, and then older children, these books. You know, you just pick out what would work best for your family. Same for Unit 2. And then you have Unit 3 and Unit 4. So that's nice. I like that there's a read aloud to go along with the history. I really do like the idea of the Charlotte Mason learning through books as far as living texts and not necessarily just textbooks, but I really do like the mashup of both. And so it's working out really well. So this is how the lessons are laid out. So this is lesson 1, the creation. It's scripted. So this is what you read to the kiddos. Talks about spending 15 minutes selecting 2 memorization pieces for each child, which we're not doing. Here's more of what you would read to the children. And in here, there are questions and things for you to do. So it's not just reading. They're interacting with you. Like it's talking about looking at this picture of trees and clouds. So here's some trees and clouds. And so the kids look at that and you ask them the questions that go along with it. Then it says, have children complete lesson 1 assignments in their student explorers while you read Genesis 1 and 2, and then begin the Unit 1 read aloud. So that is, we've already completed that. It's going, like I said, it's going great. And then lesson 2 is Adam through Enoch. Now on this one, it says, you know, read the children, but then play the audio recording, lesson 2, year 1, or you can read the script. So this is on that special website with the password where you can download the Student Explorer books. It also has the audio recordings and the scripts. So you can read them yourself or you can play them for the kids. And I will tell you what, they're about 10 minutes long. And because there's lots of characters, I much prefer just to play it and let them listen to it. My kids like listening to audiobooks on tape and things like that, and so they have really enjoyed listening to these recordings. Then after they listen to the recording, there's some questions that go along with the recording, and then do the read aloud. You can see already how easy this is. And then you've got Noah through the Tower of Babel. So they read this, and we've actually gone up through, let me see. Yes, we've done these 3, so we're getting ready to start that next one. And so it says, play the Keys of History game. We actually haven't played this yet. I need to look into it a little bit more because I need to see at what, I'll show you in a minute, but see, you know, what way to play it would work best for my young kids. Once again, read this to the children, play the audio recording, ask the questions, complete the assignments, do the read aloud. Now, every lesson will not have a recording or a lesson in their Student Explorer or the games. It just depends on the lesson itself. But we moved through them pretty quickly and they seem to be picking up everything very well. So we're getting ready to start Ancient Egypt and I'm super excited about that. So that is what the course book looks like. That's what this is called, the course book. Now, let's see, in the back, let me make sure. So there are texts used. The bibliography. Yeah, okay. So that is the Year 1 course book. Then you have their student explorers. And so, let me see. Is that one? Oh, that's Joel's. That's my youngest kid. Okay, so I was going to show you what Graham, my older kids, look like. They're all the same. But this is what I printed this off and then had it bound again. And so here was their lesson 1 page that they needed to do. Complete the days of creation, and there was a little bit of copy work there. And then for the on lesson 2, they didn't have any notebook work, but lesson 3 they did. So they had to write or copy the scripture, which he didn't put a period there. I'm just now seeing that, and color the picture. And then this will be lesson 4, and lesson 5, 6, 7. So that's what the student workbook looks like. There's some copy work, there's some map work, there's some coloring pages. It kind of just alternates. So that's their workbooks. And then you have the big book of history, stories, maps, and images, which we actually haven't used this yet because we haven't gotten to it. But you can see the table of contents. There's different stories throughout the history that you are covering, and then there are maps and images in the back. So here is a day in Thebes. So obviously this corresponds with the ancient Egypt lessons. And I'm assuming you probably don't, you might, but I don't know if I would sit and read this whole thing in one sitting because my kids are squirrely. So we would probably maybe do half of it and then come back and do the second half. And so, you've got Joseph, and it just kind of goes through. Some are colored, some are more like that they were sketched. If you lived in the Middle Ages, it's very colorful, very nice. And then in the back, let's see where it starts. I'm trying to get to the maps and images. There's a story about the Berlin Wall. Okay. So here's the map. So here's ancient Egypt, the Nile, Mesopotamia, Persian Empire, Syrian Empire. You can see all that. Stonehenge. This is really cool. I like these pictures. These are really cool. It's a picture of George Washington. Boston Tea Party. Crossing the Delaware, Queen Victoria. So that's what that looks like. And then the last thing that comes with it is the Keys of History game. So you get these little tokens and pawns and the dice. Then you have the cards that go with it, and it has points on each card. So on the back there are questions for each of the pictures, and then here you have the game instructions and 3 ways to play. So this is what I was talking about when and we would probably do more cooperative style because I have super little kids, and so we could work together to complete the game rather than playing against each other. And then the board looks like this. So that is the board game, which I'm excited about because my kids love board games. So that's our history. That is our history curriculum. I'm going to move this off to the side. And then lastly, our geography curriculum. So it says it covers K through 4th grade geography, Bible, history, science, literature, maps and flags, reproducibles, recipes, puzzles, games, and there's an activity CD. Now, we probably won't do everything in here, and I've read through it, and it says that's fine. You kind of match it to your family, but there's a long list of instructions on how to go about doing this. Then you cover the world, Asia and these countries, Europe and these countries, the poles, North America, South America and these countries, Africa, these countries, Oceania, these countries, and there's an appendix, answer keys, and the index. So it doesn't cover all of the countries through the world, but it does cover some. This is kind of an overview about how It covers all of these different subjects. There is a core book list, background information, creating student notebooks, the CD-ROM, teaching tips, general activities, language arts suggestions, recommended websites, scheduling. So here's a sample schedule, whether you're doing one country per week or one country every 2 weeks, adapting to older students, and then you get into the world. So there's a, you could copy this, or it might actually be in the CD. I haven't actually pulled that CD out yet, but they would color each continent as they study it. Here's another map, and then it talks about, begin this unit by covering basic map and globe skills. So here's kind of things that you could read if you had them, or you could kind of, use what you have. Some basic geography, notebooks, so, what did that say? Notebook suggestions, history and biographies, general references, literature, language arts, science. So it gives you recommendations on how to kind of start this out using all of these different subjects, and then different activities you can do, and Bible. And there's a little continent game and a word search, another word search, a maze craze, connect the dots, and then you move into Asia. And it's kind of set up the same way. So for China, here is all of the information that they have kind of collected that will help you learn more about China with your kiddos. And then you move into South Korea. So it's like that for every country and continent. There's all different activities and things for you to do. And then in the back, you have the activity CD-ROM. Now I believe, let me go back and look in here. Okay, it says creating the student notebook is even easier with the CD-ROM bound in the back of this book. The CD-ROM includes all of the activity sheets, maps, and flags seen in this book. So everything, that they would do is in the activity CD. You can select other bonus notebooking pages from the CD-ROM as well. This disc was added to the 2010 printing so that you can conveniently print the activity sheets directly from your home computer. The disc is both Mac and PC compatible. So not only is everything you would need for your kids, so you don't have to lay this book on a copy or print it out, but there's also additional resources in there. And here are the authors here, and there's some information about other materials that they have. But I'm super excited to use this. There's the word search answers and the answer keys for that. Here's some reports that the kids can do, making 3D maps. So yeah, so I'm really excited about using this. There's another one too, I believe, that's on the States. But I think my kids will, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. I think my kids will enjoy this, and it will be just enough for them that they will, they'll get a good overview of the world, but it won't be so in-depth that it's kind of overwhelming and confusing for them because they are younger. So this is what we are doing for history and geography this year. So if you need, or not if you need, but if you have any questions or if you need any help or anything like that, just post them in the comment box below. Like I said, you can purchase this at her website, and I'm trying to think, it's like thegoodandthebeautiful.com. Let me see if it's on here. Oh well, I will put it in the description box. And this I got off of Amazon. So, like I said, if you have any questions, post them in the comment box below. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching my video. Bye.